everybody, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this new class on the schedule. This is going to be a stronger class. So we're going to be working a little bit more with our core strength in these classes and bringing a little bit more challenge into our practice. So this evening's class, our main focus is going to be side planks. So we're going to be exploring the different variations of side plank that there are. And really for this, it's really important, we're talking about it as we go through the class, is to have that stability in the shoulders. So where we position the shoulders in the poses is really important. So we want to make sure that we're protecting our shoulders throughout the practice. So we're going to build it really slowly and really steadily, and then we'll come into a bit of a flow towards the end of the class. Okay, so if you do have any shoulder issues, this probably isn't the class for you. So make sure that your shoulders are okay before you start the class, because we are going to be working a lot with shoulder strength. Okay, right, so just coming to kneel down to start with. We'll just take the first few moments just to ground and to arrive. I'm going to place the backs of the hands on the thighs, palms face up, and just gently close the eyes down. Just taking a few mindful breaths. Taking the breath down to the belly, and making the breath nice and long and smooth. Important that we keep this connection with our breath as we move through the practice, helping to keep our mind focused and our body nice and calm. So I'm going to invite you to take 3 deep inhales, taking that in-breath all the way down to the belly, and on the exhale just sighing out through the mouth. Lovely, and then just gently blinking the eyes open. We're just going to start with some shoulder stretches just to open the shoulders, because we're going to be working with the shoulders a lot today. So we're going to start with our eagle arm. So just bringing that right elbow into the center of the chest, that left elbow underneath the right, and taking hold of the opposite hand. So if that's not available to you and you're quite tight in the shoulders, you can bring the backs of the arms together. But just gently closing the eyes down, drawing that focus of the space in between the shoulder blades, and seeing if you can breathe a little deeper into that space. And as you're breathing into that space, you're continuing to draw the elbows away from the upper chest. You're just broadening out across the upper back and the shoulders. Lovely. As you inhale now, just beginning to bring the fingertips up towards the sky, following your natural range of motion here. And on the exhale, just releasing the elbows back down. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling, fingertips to sky. Exhaling to release back down. Lovely. We'll release the elbows now. Give the shoulders a little shake. And then we're going to inhale, fingertips to sky, drawing the arms alongside the ears. And then bending that right elbow, placing the right palm onto the upper back. Bending the left elbow and seeing if you can take hold of the opposite hand. If that's not available to you, then just taking hold of your top or using a yoga strap. So you're drawing that right elbow to sky, left elbow to earth. Taking some nice deep belly breaths here. Lovely. As you exhale now, just releasing the hands, bringing the arms back down, and we'll come into eagle arms on the other side. So left elbow into the center of the chest. This time, right underneath the left, taking hold of the opposite hand. Again, gently closing the eyes down, bringing the focus, that space between the shoulder blades as you breathe into that space, drawing the elbows away from the chest. And as you inhale, gently bring in fingertips to sky. So we're just using these warm-ups just to stretch out through the shoulders and just noticing how the shoulders are feeling. On the exhale, coming back down, and we'll do that one more time. Inhaling, fingertips to sky. And exhaling to release that down. Lovely. Releasing the elbows now. We're going to inhale to sweep fingertips back to sky. We're going to bend that left elbow, placing the left palm on the upper back, bending that right elbow and taking hold of the opposite hand here. So left elbow drawing to sky, right elbow to earth. Breathing deep into the belly. Lovely. Releasing the hands now, inhaling fingertips all the way back to sky. And then we're going to exhale down into our tabletop. So just bringing the wrist creases underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tops of the feet pressing down into the earth. Making sure you're spreading out through the hands here. We're just going to do one cat-cow here just to wake up the spine. So as you inhale, release the belly down, draw chin to sky, and we're going to pause here, drawing those shoulder blades towards each other. And as you exhale, beginning to draw chin to chest, navel to spine, pushing the earth away through the palms, bringing that gaze back between the knees. Really broaden out across the upper back here. And on the exhale, just releasing back into your tabletop. We're going to come into a tabletop plank here just to fire up the core. So we're going to tuck the toes under and just hover the knees about an inch off the floor. So you're not lifting them very high at all. You're keeping your gaze down at the floor, pushing into the palms of the hands. You're lifting those shoulder blades and just breathing into the belly here. So bringing a little bit of heat into the body. Really important that we're stacking those shoulders over the wrists to keep them nice and stable. As you exhale, releasing the knees back down. Just pausing here for a moment. I'm going to do that one more time. So really draw your attention to your shoulder blades here. So we don't want to be dipping into the shoulder blades. We want to push into the palms of the hands so that we're really lifting the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Do that one more time. So the toes are tucked under. Lift the knees, hovering the knees about an inch off the floor. You're drawing that navel in towards the spine to help engage the core here. I'm going to say nice and strong in the core. Remembering to breathe. And as you exhale, you're going to push the hips back and up, coming into your first downward facing dog. So you can just gently begin to pedal out through the feet. Just warming up the legs a little bit here. And then when you're ready, just beginning to find some stillness. So drawing those heels down towards the earth, bringing the gaze back towards the ankle creases and find that nice, lovely length in the spine here. Connecting with your belly breath. So we're going to warm up the shoulders a little bit more by coming into our plank. So as you inhale, drawing shoulders forward over wrist creases, bringing the hips in line with the body. So again, when you're here in your plank, making sure you're keeping the hips in line with the rest of the body. So you're not sinking down into the hips, you're not lifting the bum too high. And just beginning to very gently push off the balls of the feet to hinge forward and then to hinge back. So just warming up those wrists a little bit here. Drawing that navel into the spine. And as you exhale, lifting the hips back into your downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. I'm going to do that one last time. As you inhale, drawing shoulders forward over wrist creases. Pressing into the finger pads, the corners of the hands. Make sure you have those hands nice and spread. Breathing into the belly. And as you exhale, lifting the hips, pushing back into your downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to come into our first side plank, but we're going to start with an easy option. It's our modified side plank. So as you inhale, we're going to come forward into our plank, shoulders over wrist creases. We're going to come onto the outside edge of that right foot, And then bend that left knee, bringing it halfway up the mat and bringing left fingertips to sky. So we're stacking that left arm over the right. Notice that my right shoulder is stacked over that wrist, keeping it nice and stable. This is a modified version, so we're using that left foot to press into the floor to lift that right hip away from the earth. Remember to breathe when we're in these challenging poses. Lovely. As you exhale, you're bringing that left hand back down and stepping back into your downward facing dog. We'll just come through a gentle vinyasa here just to release the shoulders. So inhaling forward into your high plank. We'll release the knees down, half plank. Bend the elbows, chin and chest down to the earth. Just come into your baby cobra. Keeping those elbows in close to the rib cage. And then tucking the toes under. Pushing all the way back into your downward facing dog. Lovely. So we'll do that on the other side now. So our side plank variation. As you inhale, shoulders over wrists, high plank. Coming onto the outside edge of that left foot. Stepping that right foot halfway up the mat. We're bending that right knee. Bringing right fingertips to sky. So again, we're stacking that left shoulder over the left wrist. And I want you to press into that right foot. So you're able to lift that left hip away from the earth. So you're not dumping down into that left hip here. Taking a breath here. Lovely. Bringing that right hand back down to the floor. Stepping back into your downward facing dog. Taking a nice deep inhale through the nose. Sighing out through the nose. Another nice deep inhale. Letting everything go on the exhale. Lovely. We're going to come forward back into our high plank and we're going to release the knees down to the floor and just come to lie on your front body. So we're going to come into a Sphinx pose here. So bringing the forearms down onto the earth. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Palms of the hands pressing down into the earth. And I want you to feel like you're grounding the hip bones down into the floor. So we'll take a breath here. From our Sphinx pose, we're going to come into our forearm plank. So this is a little challenging for the shoulders, but we're building that shoulder strength. So shoulders are stacked over the elbows, really important to support the shoulders here. We're going to tuck the toes under. To start with, you can come up onto the knees. This might be enough for you, you can stay here. You want to come into the full plank. You're lifting the knees and you're pushing back through the heels. So again, you're keeping the bum in line with the rest of the body. Drawing that navel in towards the spine. Taking a breath here. And from here, we're going to come into our Dolphin Pose. So we're going to lift the hips up towards the sky and begin to walk the feet forward. So Dolphin Pose is just like our downward facing dog, but we're pressing into the forearms as opposed to the hands. It's a little bit more challenging. We're really engaging with our shoulder strength here. So just taking a couple of breaths, really pushing down into the forearms. And then when you're ready, releasing the knees down, we're going to come into our child's pose. So just bring the arms alongside the body, bringing the palms to face up towards the sky. We'll just give those shoulders a little rest now, just allowing those shoulders to melt away to the sides. So as we come through the class, there'll be opportunities to rest in between. We want to slowly build that shoulder strength and that shoulder stability. Like most of our yoga, it's a work in progress. Just doing things slowly, slowly, step by step. So just taking 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, come in to join me again in downward facing dog. So this time we're going to inhale that right foot to sky, 3-legged dog. You're going to bend that right knee and you're drawing that right knee towards the nose. So when you're doing that, you're drawing the shoulders forward over the wrist. So it's a little bit like our plank, but we're lifting that right foot. Drawing that knee in towards the nose. As you exhale, you're pushing the weight back, coming into your three-legged dog, pushing out to that right heel. Doing that 2 more times, bending that right knee. Drawing knee to nose. Really important that you're drawing the shoulders forward over the wrists. Exhaling, three-legged dog. One last time, knee to nose. And this time we're going to step that right foot through. So release that left knee down. We'll come into our low lunge. Just lift the gaze, draw the chest through. Taking a couple of deep breaths into the belly. And as you inhale, we're going to bring fingertips to sky, drawing the arms alongside the ears. And as you exhale, we'll bring the hands down behind the back, interlace the fingers, and just push down through the hands. So you get a nice shoulder stretch here, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. Lovely. Releasing the hands, we're going to inhale back to sky, exhale down to the earth, and step all the way back into your downward facing dog. We'll come through a slow vinyasa here. So inhaling forward into your high plank. Option to release the knees down, or you can come into your chaturanga. So we're bending the elbows, pushing forward off the balls of the feet, lowering the body down, inhaling, coming up into your cobra here. So we use a lot of our shoulder strength in our chaturanga. We're going to tuck the toes under, push all the way back into your downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. Lovely. Next inhale, we're lifting that left foot to sky, three-legged dog. Bending that left knee and drawing knee to nose again. So bringing the shoulders over the wrists, hugging that knee in. Exhaling, three-legged dog. 2 more times, knee to nose. Exhaling, three-legged dog. 1 last time, knee to nose. We're going to pause here this time, hovering that left foot, and then we're going to step the left foot through. Coming into our low lunge on the other side now, drawing the chest through, lifting the gaze, getting a little deeper into those hips, taking 2 deep belly breaths here. Lovely. Next inhale, bringing fingertips to sky. Drawing the arms alongside the ears. And as you exhale, releasing down, taking hold of the hands. Drawing the hands down, shoulder blades towards each other. And then releasing the hands. We're going to inhale all the way back up. Exhale down to the earth. And step back into our downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to come into some other variations of our side plank now. A little bit more challenging this time. So we're going to inhale forward, coming into our high plank. We're coming onto the outside edge of the right foot, but this time we're bringing that left foot behind. So that left foot, the toes are pointing towards the back of the mat. So the foot is parallel to the side of the mat. The whole of that left foot's on the floor, but we're balanced on the outside edge of that right foot. Right shoulder stacked over right wrist. Now the challenging part, we're going to lift that left knee into our tree side plank. Taking a breath here. As you exhale, you're going to step that left foot forward. Release that right knee down. Inhaling to bring fingertips to sky. So don't worry if you didn't get it that time. We're going to do it a couple more times. Taking that breath down to the belly as you exhale to release the arms down. Interlace the fingers, draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Taking 2 belly breaths here. Lovely. Releasing the hands, inhaling, fingertips back to sky, exhaling down to the earth. We're going to step back into our downward facing dog. We do that sequence on the other side now. So inhaling forward into your high plank. This time we're on the outside edge of that left foot. Bringing that right foot all the way down behind the left leg. Toes pointing towards the back of the mat. Inhaling right fingertips to sky. So you're using that right foot to push into the floor so you can lift that left hip away from the earth. Making sure you have that left shoulder stacked over the left wrist. We're going to inhale now into our tree side plank. So lifting that right knee to sky. And as you exhale, you're stepping that right foot forward. Releasing the left knee down. Sweeping fingertips to the sky. So lots of fancy footwork today. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the hands down behind the back. Interlace the fingers, bringing the gaze up towards the sky. 2 belly breaths. Lovely. Releasing the hands, inhaling fingertips back to sky. We're going to exhale the hands down. Step that left foot forward, coming into your Rad Doll Pose. So feet are hip distance apart. Nice generous bend in the knees. And we'll just take this opportunity just to give the shoulders a bit of a rest here, and also the wrists. The wrists work a lot in our plank poses. So you can either allow the hands just to release down to the earth, or you can take hold of the opposite elbow here. Just bringing that gaze back between the knees. If it feels nice, you can just sway from side to side. Just giving those shoulders a little rest. Lovely. And then coming back to your centre, we're going to inhale up into our half lift. Finding that length again in the spine. Exhaling, forward fold. And as you inhale, you're sweeping fingertips all the way to sky. Palms of the hands together. Exhaling down to heart centre. We'll take 2 breaths here. Lovely. We're going to bring the arms behind now and interlace the fingers. So make sure your feet are a little wider than hip distance apart. We're just going to release the shoulders here. So a nice generous bend in the knees. As you exhale, you're going to hinge at the hips, bringing the forehead towards the knees, allowing the hands to float up towards the sky. So we keep the head nice and relaxed. Give the head a little nod, a little shake. We'll just stay here for a couple of breaths. Lovely. As you exhale, slowly pushing into the soles of the feet. We're going to come all the way back up to centre. Taking a moment here just to bring that breath back into the belly as you release the hands alongside the body, back into Tadasana. Next inhale, we'll sweep fingertips to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then we'll step back into our downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. So we're going to do another variation of a side plank. And then we'll build on using the rest of the versions of plank that we've already done. Okay, so the first one will be a little bit different. And then we'll put them all together into a flow. So as you inhale, you're going to lift that right foot to sky, 3-legged dog, bending that right knee. You're drawing knee to nose again, bringing shoulders over wrists. Exhaling, 3-legged dog. Doing that 2 more times, knee to nose. Exhaling, 3-legged dog. 1 last time. This time you're going to hover. I'm going to cross that right leg over the left. So you're bringing that right knee over the left. Some fancy footwork here. So we're going to pivot on that left foot so that it's parallel to the back of the mat. And the whole of the foot is pressing down into the floor. Once the shoulder is stable over that right wrist, you're bringing left fingertips to sky. So it's like a 1-legged side plank. As you exhale, you're bringing that left hand down. You're pivoting on that left foot And then you're going to bring that right foot behind the left. So we've done this one already. We're on the outside edge of that left foot. Right knee is bent, sole of the foot pressing down into the earth. We're going to get ready now for our side plank version of tree. So we're going to inhale to lift that right knee to sky. And as we exhale, step that right foot forward. Release that left knee down. Inhale, fingertips to sky. And exhale to bring the hands down behind the back. We'll take 2 breaths here. Lovely. As you inhale, bringing fingertips all the way back up. Exhaling down and stepping all the way back into your downward facing dog. Have the option to come through your vinyasa here or to rest in down dog or child's pose. If you feel you need to take a rest, just listening to your body, giving it what it needs. So just taking a couple of breaths now, either if you're in your down dog or your child's pose. With that sequence on the other side. So when you're ready, join me back in downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, left foot to sky. Bend that left knee, knee to nose, drawing the shoulders over the wrists. Exhaling, 3-legged dog. 2 more times, knee to nose. Exhaling, 3-legged dog. 1 last time. This time we're going to pause and hover. And then we're going to cross that left leg over the right. And we're pivoting that right foot all the way down. So the outside of that right foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Bringing right fingertips to sky. Side plank. As you exhale, bringing that right hand down. You're pivoting on that right foot. So you're coming over to the other side now. Onto the outside edge of that left foot. And bringing that left foot behind the right leg. Lovely. So making sure that you've got that right shoulder stacked over the right wrist so it's nice and stable, really important. We're going to begin to lift that left knee now into our tree. And as we exhale, stepping that left foot forward, releasing right knee down, fingertips to sky. Exhaling the hands down behind the back, interlacing the fingers, taking 2 breaths here. Lovely. Releasing the hands now, inhaling fingertips back to sky. Exhaling the hands down to the earth. Stepping right foot forward. We'll come back into our rag doll. Taking a couple of breaths here, just allowing the shoulders just to relax. Next inhale, coming into your half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling to sweep fingertips to sky, palms together, exhaling down to heart center. Taking 2 breaths here. Releasing the arms alongside the body. We're going to sweep fingertips back to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to step back into your downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. So that last sequence that we did, we're going to do it 1 last time on each side. So I hope you're a little bit more familiar with it now. It feels, you kind of know what to expect in your body. The great thing with repetition is your body has that muscle memory. And the more that we do things, the easier it gets. So we'll start on the right side. So inhaling, right foot to sky. Bend that right knee. Knee to nose, bringing shoulders over wrists. Exhaling, 3-legged dog. 2 more times, knee to nose. 3-legged dog. Knee to nose. We're going to pause here. Cross that right leg over the left. Pivot that left foot down so it's parallel to the back of the mat. Inhale, left fingertips to sky. Exhale, that left hand down. Pivoting on that left foot and bringing that right foot down. Lifting right fingertips to sky. So lifting that left hip away from the earth. Preparing for our tree side plank as you inhale, right knee to sky. Exhaling to step forward. Releasing left knee down. Fingertips to sky. Exhaling the hands down. Interlacing the fingers and taking 2 breaths here. Inhaling to bring fingertips back to sky. Exhaling the hands down to the earth. Stepping all the way back into your downward facing dog. Option to come into your vinyasa or rest in your child's pose or downward facing dog. And then we'll just take a couple of resting breaths now, either in child's pose or downward facing dog. So just taking this opportunity just to slow the breath, just to check back in with yourself, noticing how you're responding to the practice. It's quite a strong practice and quite a challenging practice, so go easy on yourself. And then when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to join me back in our downward facing dog. And we'll do that sequence one last time on the other side now. So we're going to inhale that left foot to sky, 3-legged dog. Bend that left knee, bringing it towards the nose, shoulders over wrists. Exhaling, 3-legged dog. 2 more times, knee to nose, 3-legged dog. 1 last time. We're going to hover this time, cross that left leg over the right, pivoting that right foot down to the floor so it's parallel to the back of the mat, lifting that left hip, bringing that right hand down, pivoting that right foot, and you're bringing that left foot behind the right leg, really pushing into that foot as you lift that right hip away from the earth, preparing for your tree plank. Inhaling, left knee to sky. Exhaling to step that left foot forward. Release the right knee down. Inhale, fingertips to sky. Exhale to bring the hands down behind the back. Interlace the fingers, bringing the gaze up towards the ceiling. Taking 2 breaths here. Lovely. Bringing fingertips all the way back to sky, exhaling down to the earth, stepping back into your downward facing dog. Coming through your last vinyasa here, or resting in child's pose. We'll just take a couple of breaths here in down dog or child's pose. I'm just going to do a couple of more poses for our shoulders. So when you're ready, just joining me back in downward facing dog. We're going to come into our dolphin pose here. Dolphin pose is a really good pose that you can work with to build that strength in your shoulders. So it's not the most pleasant of poses. It is very challenging. But I found that my shoulder strength has really become a lot stronger by doing a lot of work with dolphin poses. So we came into it before from our Sphinx Pose into our forearm plank. So it's a little bit different this time. We're going to release that, bring the gaze first to the hands. We're going to release that left forearm down and then the right forearm down. And bring the gaze back between the ankles. Once you're here, you've got the hips lifted. See if you can walk the feet in a little closer. And you're keeping that gaze back at the toes. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. So really pushing into the forearms. Bringing a lot of heat into the body now as we fire up the core. Staying with it. Lovely. When you're ready now, we're going to exhale and release the knees down.
Bring the hips back over the heels and coming into your child's pose. You can bring the arms back, palms of the hands facing up towards the sky, and just allow the shoulders to relax now. We'll stay here for a few breaths. So all the hard work is done. Just allowing the whole of the upper body now just to melt down into the earth. Back to your center. Taking 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, just beginning to lift the forehead, coming back to sit on the heels. So we're going to finish with a couple of stretches here that are really nice just to release the shoulders. So we're going to come back up into our tabletop. So bringing the knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. We're going to come into our melting heart pose. So I want you to keep the hips where they are, stacked over the knees. Walking the hands as far forward as you can without moving the hips. And then releasing the chin or the forehead down to the earth. If it feels too strong being on the chin, then come onto the forehead. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Just allowing the heart center to melt down into the earth. So if you can breathe into the shoulder space. Next inhale, just beginning to press into the forearms, lifting the chin, the forehead, and coming to lie on the front body. So we're going to come into another Sphinx Pose. Don't worry, there's no more forearm planks. Just bring in the elbows underneath the shoulders. And bring the feet quite wide apart, keeping the gaze ahead. And I want you to feel like you're drawing the shoulder blades down the back, finding that space in the chest. Stay here for a few breaths, just allowing those shoulders to open. And then when you're ready, just bringing the elbows out to the sides and creating a little pillow with the hands and bringing the forehead down onto the back of the hands and just gently rocking from side to side with the hips just to release the lower back here. I'm going to finish here with one shoulder stretch. So it's a yin style pose. You're going to bring the arms out into a cross shape. So the arms are in line with the shoulders and come to lie on the right cheek. You're going to bring that left hand in towards the body and use that left hand to push yourself up onto the right side body. So you're stacking that left foot on top of the left leg on top of the right leg. So that left hand is just helping you to keep your balance. So we're just stretching out that right shoulder. You can close the eyes down. You want to come a little deeper. You can lift that left leg, bend the left knee and bring that left foot all the way down onto the floor. Make sure the whole sole of the foot can touch the floor. If you're just on the big toe, then bring that left leg back on top of the right. You have that left knee bent now, just bringing that left leg back on top of the right And you're going to very slowly and very gently just walk that left hand away from the body. So you're releasing back down onto the front body here. So bringing the arms back into a cross shape. You're leaving that right arm exactly where it is and coming to lean on the left cheek this time. And now bringing that right hand in close to the chest, pushing yourself up onto the left side body, bringing that right leg to rest over the left. And if you want a little bit more of a stronger stretch here, you can lift that right leg, bend that right knee and bring that right foot down onto the earth. This is one of my favourite shoulder stretches. It feels so good. That right knee bend, just bringing that right leg back on top of the left. And very gently, just walking that right hand away from the body, releasing back down onto the front body. Create a little pillow with the forearms and bringing the hand to rest on the back, the head to rest on the back of the hands. Now you have the option to stay here on the front body in your crocodile pose for Shavasana, or if it feels more comfortable then rolling over onto your back. So just choosing whichever version feels most comfortable for you. Just letting go of your practice now, letting go of the breath. Just enjoying these final few moments of relaxation. Slowly beginning to bring your awareness back to your body. Being aware of the sounds around you. And just bring in some gentle movements back into the fingertips and toes. And when you're ready, keeping your eyes closed, just slowly making your way back to a seated position. You're going to bring the palms of the hands together at heart center, and we'll finish by taking 3 inhales through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep inhale. And one last inhale. Taking a moment to notice the effects of the practice, noticing if there's any change in how your body feels, what your energy levels are like, how the mind is. Taking a moment to be grateful to yourself for showing up for your practice today. Namaste.
Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're feeling nice and strong and fierce after that class. Planks are very challenging. They do require a lot of shoulder strength, so it's always a work in progress, but it's great feeling when you kind of feel that strength in the body. So enjoy, and I will see you again soon. Take care.